It's book review time, and we are going to be doing 48 Laws of Power. So, I started to read this book um like years ago, and I started reading it and I really did not like the vibes that this book was giving off. This book is far from happy feelings. This book is very deep, but it's not going to make you feel good about yourself. And so I put it down because I really didn't like the perspective that the author had on life. And I actually skipped the preface because I always skip the preface. And the whole thing made me feel icky. I didn't like it. Fast forward 5 years, and I decided to pick up this book again because although this book made me feel gross inside, I it was thought provoking. And some of the concepts did stick with me. So I was bored and I decided to pick this book back up. And I'll tell you what, I was shocked and surprised when I picked this book up again 5 years later. Shocked and surprised because I actually understood it and got it. I feel like I have, I'm a, my whole family, my sister's a businesswoman, my husband's a business person, and I'm a business person. We all own our own businesses. And I do believe in the best in people, and I do believe in um I have certain worldviews that I don't feel like that this book sometimes comes in clashes it. I felt like this time I read the preface, and I'm glad I did that. I will never read the preface of any book, so don't ever try to get me going. But sometimes it makes a difference. And I feel like this one did because it addresses that icky feeling of the laws in this book and kind of tells you what to do with those feelings. I have not even gotten halfway through. I'm not sure if I'm going to reread the chapters that I read because this is such a thought provoking book that even if you don't agree with it, I think you should read it because you're it forces you to make an opinion, and any book that challenges your mind you should probably read just so you can form an opinion on it. um so what the preface tells you is if you think you're better than this book, then that is a false sense of superiority. You're either going to do these rules because you want to, or you're going to do them by accident. And I was like, dang, you're right, because people I know are doing this stuff in this book not even on purpose. They're living out the laws of this life, whether they want to or not. And I really don't know how this guy got all of this knowledge in this book, but whether people want to or not, they're living this stuff out. Whether I want to, there are certain rules in this that I do instinctively. One of them is know when to leave early or know when to leave with people wanting more. I do that anyway. And I'm like, wow, people could read this and they'd be like, that's what Wesley's doing. I'm not doing it on purpose, but I do want to leave when things are good. I don't want to wait till things go bad and then leave. I want to leave feeling good. And if I wait, then it's not going to be so good anymore. So someone might read this and then understand me a little bit more, even though I didn't do it on purpose and I didn't do it for power necessarily. Um, the preface was really helpful. The other thing the preface tells you is how to read the book, which I did not. Again, I think this is the best preface I've ever read because it actually tells you what to do with the freaking book. Most of the time, it's just filler to, like, I don't know, fill up the book because they have to sell. They have to add 10 more pages to a book. Um, what I what it tells you to do is to read all of the chapters, the chapter like outlines. It gives little like a list of the descriptions of each of the chapters. You're supposed to read this and then choose the chapters that are most pertinent to you. I'm such an like, okay, that would have made a difference, I guess. But I got like when I read it 5 years ago, I got 5 chapters in, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this this is so intense, like demoralizing and sad. Um, I think, yeah, I got to to law 4 and then I stopped. But if I would have gone through and just picked the ones that were most pertinent, I probably would have been less depressed about it. So I'm going to, I don't know if I'll give another like book review, make this a part like 1 part 2 situation, because I could go through them, but I don't know how interested I would be in listening to myself talk about that. But I just feel like in this phase of my life, when I feel like everything else I've done in business hasn't necessarily worked, I've been gracious, I've been kind, I've been all of these things, and then I've been robbed and I've been um, not appreciated. And so I'm kind of at a place where like I think I need to try a different approach. I think I need to view things slightly different than how I'm viewing them right now, because what I'm doing right now is demoralizing. What I'm doing right now makes me feel powerless. And I don't need to necessarily feel powerful, but I can't get things done if I feel powerless. For example, the first law is never outshine the master. I wish everybody knew that, even though that's like manipulative by saying, always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please or impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear that might accomplish the opposite. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. And to me, that, you know, that sounds manipulative, but the reality of that is true. You should never make your boss feel like shit. That's just like obvious 101. You should never make the person that you're working for feel bad. And I feel like I do that instinctively because I'm a Christian, and it's like humility. Like I don't want someone to feel bad, or even the person that's above me. I don't want them to feel bad or insecure about me being better than they are, even though I know. But still, yes, even though it's the way that like this book says it, like I think the wordage is like always make those above you feel comfortably superior. I'm like, ugh, well, don't say it like that. But yes, you should be mindful of the person that's above you, and you shouldn't make them feel bad. But some people don't know that. Some people really don't know that. So then I guess they should read the book and know that you shouldn't, as a person that's hired other people, I don't hire the people that think that they're better than me, because they're not. There was a person I hired to do something for me, and she wouldn't listen to anything I had to say. She's like, should I make it like this or like this? And I was like, make it the other way. And she's like, but it's for this. I'm like, I understand that, but make it the other way. Like, I'm telling you, I don't want it like that. And I didn't want to tell her it looked like crap, but she felt perfectly fine telling the boss that what I wanted was wrong. And so I'm not going to hire her again, because if she cannot listen to me, if she can't stop and be like, hey, if she would have been right, then maybe. But it's interesting. I'm like, it's amazing that other people don't know that. You don't make your boss feel bad. You don't tell the boss that you're smarter than they are. And in this case, she definitely was not. But in other cases, I mean, even if you were smarter than them, you shouldn't probably make them feel that way. And that's, to me, 101. That's obvious. I don't like how it was written because it makes me feel gross, but it's also true. And if you don't know that, then maybe you should read the book. Some of these things are obvious to me, but I don't like the way it's phrased. So I will say definitely, yes, read it. I wouldn't suggest it as the first self-help book to read. I would say it's probably like the 5th or 6th. Because I think there are other things that are easier principles to follow. Like, I don't think I could necessarily follow anything in this, but it is eye-opening. Like one, for example, is use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work. You know, that sounds like a lot of work. And I'm not that in tune with my actions to think about every single thing that I do. But I think that's why it's saying just choose the ones that are relevant, instead of like I can't live my life this self-aware, you know. But I think that's why you're supposed to go through and find it. Whereas like books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's a really simple book with one simple thing that anyone can follow. Like just ask questions. Always ask questions. That's easy. Anyone can do it, and it just helps people. I think that's a much easier book to read. So I would not suggest this as like a list of 10 self-help books that everyone should read. I would say that this is bottom of the list because it is fascinating, but it's really kind of hard to apply these things. But I think it's really important, especially if you're in corporate America, because I think this is how corporate America functions. And sometimes it's good just to see how other people function. Even if you don't want to live by these laws, I think you should 100% read it and just kind of see that some people do, even if they don't mean to. Some people do act stupider than they are for power. I have a friend that does that, and I don't know why she is. I've always noticed it. I'm always like, why do you act like you don't? Why you act so naive? It's like Marilyn Monroe acted naive. She was always like, what? But she knew she was smarter. She was smarter. So it was so it's just good to know that, like, oh, like, to read that and be like, oh, this is a form of that this person gets power, whether or not they're doing it on purpose, whether even not they know that they're doing it. It's it is a form of gaining power. So I would recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it as like the top 5 books, but maybe the sixth after you've read other ones that are like positive. It's definitely fun. It's a fun read, and after having read it the first time and being like, "Whoa, that's intense," and now 5 years being like, "Okay, I can see more," and reading the stupid preface, gosh. So yes, I recommend that book, 48 Laws of Power.